my friends make a lot of salad. I feel like shit and I've had too much to drink tonight. But pass more cheap wine. Solving it sober. Ever did was give me life and I don't want it. Burning holes in my brain. Cocaine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're live. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. This is the Garret Schuelke podcast. I am your host. You could probably guess who it is. If not, I am Garret Schuelke. And today I am once again joined by a previous guest, a very good friend of mine, a local activist, musician, care home worker. Got back into that.
Yep, it's roundabout. Eccentric individual. I yell at the man from time to time.
Yes. Yep, you know him among our names as the Hoodrat Strategist, Sista Mista, and
it's Danger Group.
Danger Group. God damn it! How
come it's rarely used though?
God, I can't. No, I can't believe I forgot that.
I have been going out there spinning records from time to time, though. But
indeed, you have.
Yeah.
Yep. You know him as all that. Andy Argo, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Hello, everyone out there. And well, usually I say Radio Land. I guess Podcast Land is more appropriate. But
Yep. So, well, I asked you on the way up, but how have you been doing, man?
Oh well, things are usually pretty quiet up in the wintertime. Particularly if, we talk about it from like an organizing perspective, like everybody's kind of, chilling out after the election, maybe kicking back, sparking one up,
Legally sparking
one up, yeah, as of, 2 days ago, I believe, 3 days ago, yeah.
Yep, earlier this week. Mm-hmm. Legally, I'm kind of doing that in air quotes, because, still a lot of obstacles, which we'll get to.
Yep.
And that's actually why I originally wanted to have you on the show, because I contacted you back in November, right after our election. Mm-hmm. And, that would have been a good conversation, too, but a lot more has happened, both here in Michigan and nationwide.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so despite progress, we're still living in a hellhole, aren't we?
Oh yeah. Do you want to dive right into that lame duck bullshit?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
man.
let's just start at the beginning.
Reel back a little bit.
Throwback. Time machine time. Yeah. Okay.
Time machine time. How far back are we going?
Let's start at the very beginning.
When Kalamazoo was on Potawatomi land, and then a bunch of white people came and genocided everybody. Then
fast forward a couple centuries, and we took down that fucking statue in Bronson Park.
Yeah,
everything is good now. The end.
The end. Yeah, definitely no
racism is over in Kalamazoo.
Knock over no racism.
Yeah. No, for real. Okay, wanted to talk to you about the recent midterm election here in Michigan. We have a new governor, Gretchen Whitmer, Democrat. We got some other high-ranking Democrats in positions now. And the three proposals that we had, which include marijuana legalization, gerrymandering, and just some voter rights stuff, they all passed.
Yep.
So, the big question, remember that whole thing about the blue wave?
Yeah.
How would you determine that in Michigan, at least?
Okay, so here's the thing. I think for the Democrats' part, it was fairly strong as far as midterms go. There's a few things to remember, though, and why I'm not really giving them a whole lot of credit, is, given the state of national politics, like, the opposition party to an administration as retrograde as Donald Trump's, it should be, like, just completely in the bag, but, it's the, I heard this analogy that was just perfect the other day. Some comedian said it, and I guess it's like she's telling the story about how my daughter asked me, what's the difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party? And she said to her daughter, "The Democratic Party is like that aunt that keeps promising to take you to Disney World. She never follows through. The Republican Party is like your cranky uncle who tells you, no, I'm not going to take you to Disney World, and then you find out that he went to Disney World by himself." Yes.
It is an analogy, but I did see a great meme that said, "I'm really glad the Democrats won so they don't have to bitch about Russian meddling for the fact that they can't beat fucking Klansmen in these elections."
Yeah. Well, good news, everybody. The ruling class won the election yet again.
Yay!
Yeah.
The thing that we expected to happen happened.
Oh, yeah. And like the whole thing. I mean, something that is interesting to me is, and we talked a little bit about this right after the election. You notice who won and who lost, or even who came really close, absurdly close, in places that people in the Democratic Party have not been competitive in decades. I think that's something you shouldn't look past. Again, winning is winning, and you shouldn't necessarily get too caught up. Glass half full, but don't necessarily fool yourself. But even like a lot of the high-profile races with decent candidates that lost, I'm thinking like Andrew Gillum and Stacey Abrams in particular, maybe also Beto. I'm not really a big fan of his, but
besides for Michigan, that was the other one I watched because he was going up against the Zodiac Killer.
Oh yeah.
And
the skateboard.
He nearly won too.
Yeah.
It was so close.
I don't know. I looked a little bit. It's like, cause here's the thing about Beto is like he's become such a kind of rock star in like Democratic.
He actually was a rock star. Actually, they tried to use that against him.
Yeah, but like it's like I look at his policy platform, and then I looked at like who's funding him.
He's like second behind Ted Cruz himself.
Yeah, and fossil fuel funding. I'm like, well, what is? It's like having like a Killmonger moment. It's like, is this your king? Is this what? No. But no, Stacey Abrams probably one of my favorites from that election because she's just. And here's a little bit of a victory right here. Since 2016. Oh my God, I think almost every week on my show we come on and bitch about a new story about voter suppression, election fraud, and it never was on the national radar. It's like, I think talking point I like to tell people all the time is literally like 9 times out of 10, the person I'm talking to will not know about this, but Chris Kobach, who lost his governorship for Kansas, by the way. Karma is a bitch, Mr. Kobach. He created the interstate cross-check system, which, long story short, what it does is it cross-references names in bordering states, and it will knock similar names off the voter rolls. This has been statistically proven to disproportionately disenfranchise voters of color, either blacks and Hispanics. So a lot of the names that get knocked off the voter rolls are not people who are trying to.
Sorry, didn't know if that Zach was in here or not.
Yeah. He'll be back soon, like in 30-some minutes.
Okay, I'll come back.
So anyway, yeah.
Serious guest, ladies and gentlemen.
So yeah, it's on the kind of absurd premise that average working class people are going to take the time and energy to go vote in 2 different states at the same time, and obviously they're not going to do that. So even that talking point is odious. So you end up knocking thousands of people off the voter rolls who, by any other stretch of the imagination, should have the right to vote. We had about 70,000 voters were knocked off the rolls here in Michigan, and do you remember what Trump's margin here was? About 14,000.
I honestly don't remember.
But yeah, it was about 14,000. So like what I'm trying to say is like Chris Kobach's him disenfranchising non-white voters is there's always a lot of debate about like what caused Trump and there's a leftist debate there's a centrist debate about it. If you're a leftist, you really look at like the economic and social conditions, kind of the decay of neoliberalism that has brought us to a point where we could elect a game show host as president If you're a
It
centrist,
literally has a golden toilet.
yes, yeah. Of course, if you're a centrist, you're looking through articles, piecing things together like a Tom Clancy novel, because it's all the KGB's fault. But
if you're from the right wing perspective, it's because someone called you a bad name over Facebook, and now you're hashtagging cuck and snowflake.
Oh yeah. Or
that SJWs made me vote Trump.
Or like the more nuanced QAnon, right? Which is like he's secretly an FDR like president. He's just like playing chess, and you just need to go take the red pill and bullshit. But
he's fighting the satanic government.
Yeah, he's fighting the satanic government. Everybody,
even though of all the people that would engage in that type of activity that QAnon is against, he kind of fits that profile perfectly.
Oh yeah, really.
It's like, jeez.
But yeah, I guess like the point I was trying to make, like whatever you think, like, oh, this is what causes. If you're just looking at the basic math here, just like the vote totals, Hillary Clinton, who I'm not a big fan of either, but she would have won the Electoral College if it hadn't been for this motherfucker.
Well, then that gets into the debate whether we need the Electoral College or not.
Oh
God! Which that's one of the issues I'm still very much on the fence about. I just can't decide.
The whole thing with that is, I've thought about that too. The whole like tyranny of the majority talking thing, and you gotta understand even within the language they dressed it up at the time, the reason that they created the Electoral College in the first place was to, for slave owners to consolidate their own power, because they were always going to be living in less populous states. But even at the time of the Revolution, the slave economy, it was like a huge cornerstone of the economy. So they kind of needed a more political leverage than would have been built in had we just gone straight up popular vote. And also keep in mind, like the founders, everybody always like, oh, the founders wouldn't have wanted this, or the founders for liberty.
The founders were perfect. They did nothing. They could do no wrong. The Constitution is perfect.
No, the founders. If you go back and look at what they actually said, they were very much against direct democracy. They did not like the unwashed masses, as it were. So. The Electoral College was put in very deliberately as a substitute for the popular vote because they did not want the rabble to have that much control. And
I did not learn this in school.
No,
I learned about freedom and liberty.
Freedom and liberty, and it's Electoral College. Well, where does some of the talk points? Like it gives everybody a voice, and granted, like. There are some tremendous cultural, what's the word I'm looking for? Chasms in the United States. Like there are some profound differences between how a rancher in Colorado sees the world versus like maybe somebody living in New York. But that's shrinking though. I think that gets downplayed a lot too. Is with the advent of the internet, your ability to really be connected to global culture is only hindered by your ability to access the internet. And even in a lot of rural areas, they're starting to get like high speed or satellite internet. So it's less to me about like that whole talking point about how like America is so culturally different. We need like something like the Electoral College to kind of equalize power. To me, I think that's kind of a false thing. Ideological lines, granted, where you grow up and who you grow up around, it's more important, really, just about anything. We're also becoming much more of a, I hate to say like global society, because I know there's a lot of right wingers like globalists.
Which is totally not another word for Jews or anything that's racist or conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Totally not.
Although that does. Excuse me. Yeah, on the left we have the concept of the international, like the Socialist International, and that's the idea like of the entire having like international solidarity and like the eventual idea, like the goal, the kind of utopian idea would be a global socialist society that all is equally devoted and interested in the interest and well-being of everyone else. There's not any more of these fucking stupid invisible borders. But so it's kind of interesting. I'm sorry. I'm going down a weird rabbit hole about the left's relationship to nationalism.
I'm about to say, folks, you probably can't hear, but I have a cold. I take some Alka-Seltzer in the morning, so I'm pretty good. But kind of sounds like you got something going on.
Yeah, I don't have a cold, but I did wake up. I walked here. I was at a show last night, so my throat's probably still a little crackly from doing the angry rap shits. But
yeah, we'll definitely get to that.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay, but I guess go back. But out of this whole election, besides obviously paying attention here in Michigan, Beto versus Cruz, my other big thing was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Her rise to power, you could say.
Yeah.
And she isn't even technically in office yet, but she's been doing a lot so far. More so to like show the power structure. Some stuff we know. Some stuff was like, oh shit, really?
Yeah.
And just the right wing response to her. Wow. You get everything from like a creep who was like taking pictures of her backside, saying like, she's wearing this Gucci-est looking jacket. How can she afford that?
Yeah.
Or most recently, someone like took that famous Trump quote where he's like, "I am very smart. I have a good brain," and like attributed it to her.
I don't know if I guess these conservatives only ever shop at fucking Men's Warehouse or the goddamn Gap. I don't know. I don't think any of them have ever walked into a thrift shop in their goddamn lives because like. If you know what you're doing, you can find a pretty Gucci outfit.
Oh yeah, I've gotten many a good outfit.
Yeah.
I had a really great leather jacket I got from Goodwill that used to be on Stadium,
Yeah.
like when I first moved here.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because actually I had a friend in town who he's like this kind of national campaign strategist for a lot of like progressive Dem Inter type folks, and it's funny because the thing that is kind of inspiring to me about Cortez, at least the sources that I have, she's pretty damn genuine. She really is like a working class person, like you or me, who decided I'm going to run for office. I'm just going to knock on every goddamn door in my district. And
yeah, she was a bartender beforehand.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
and more so when after she got elected, it came up that she was having a hard time finding a place to live. Mm-hmm. Which, then they criticize her for that.
Well, yeah.
Oh, what, you too poor to live here?
She's not going to win because, I mean, here's the thing, is good to Alexandria, but let's not forget, she's not the only freshman in there. There's also our state's own Rashida Tlaib.
Yep.
Is also extremely outspoken. There's Ilhan Omar from Minnesota, and then there's this other congresswoman. I'm forgetting her name.
Okay. I asked you about the blue wave air quotes here in Michigan. Mm-hmm. How about nationwide with those examples you just gave? A few others. Did it happen or was it blown out?
Here's what I'll say for the state of where we're at now. It should have been a lot more of a wipeout, really.
Oh God, yes.
There's a couple of things to take into consideration, of course, and the Democrats. Okay, this point I just want to get back to it because I kind of went on a tangent, but so when we talk about voter suppression, one of the good things about this election, people actually really started paying attention to it. You especially saw in Georgia, when I saw them talking about it on CBS this morning, I was like, holy shit, they're talking about voter suppression, voter disenfranchisement on a national news network. People are going to be a lot more conscientious about this, and I think there's a national understanding now that this is a big fucking problem, and that causes two things. It causes You know, and particularly like I tip my hat off to Stacey Abrams so much because she's not shutting up about this. She's going because like for those who don't know, you know, Brian Kemp, he was the Secretary of State during his own fucking election, and there's like a whole history of him harassing racial justice groups and basically anybody doing like electoral or voter registration work, legal harassment, even like sending cops after them to like intimidate them and shit.
Oh,
that's one of my big hopes. I think like voter suppression has really people, not only like the Democratic base, but I think a lot of the Democratic politicians who care about winning have figured out, oh wait, this is a big fucking problem, and it's not gonna hurt us if we actually talk about it. You know, I think like there was this apprehension among the Democrats to talk about issues related to election integrity, because you don't. There's this great quote from the Hillary Clinton book Shattered, which is these two journalists who followed her campaign, and one of the most insightful things to me is near the end. You know, Barack Obama called up Hillary Clinton, telling her to concede, and in that
really,
yeah, and they in that conversation they mentioned like she knew that there were like these discrepancies with the vote in certain states. She knew about like cross checking that shit, but Barack Obama told her, and this really stuck with me, we do not want the American people to question, or, I mean, he didn't use the word question, but doubt the integrity of their institutions. And that really stuck with me. I'm like, holy shit, you know, that just makes it start making sense. If you want people to think that we live in a perfect democracy, then you wouldn't talk about voter suppression. And of course, you know, the Democrats don't necessarily have clean hands either. They do a lot of snaky things during their primaries. I think we all saw that 2 years ago. But
well, it may return too.
Oh, yeah.
Clinton may be running in 2020.
God.
God.
That's just, get me out of this timeline if that happens.
The pain never ends.
No.
Nah, that's just a rumor. I honestly don't know. On one hand, it wouldn't surprise me she does it because she's that kind of person.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I do not see her winning again because she just fucked everything up so much last time.
Or the Democrats could like,
It's like
you know what I think was likely to happen is the people deep in power, the Barack Obamas and all them. They'll probably convince Hillary not to run again. They'll run Joe Biden, and
that's our big front runner right there.
And you know they'll be like, oh, we can run a neoliberal centrist. It's just people didn't like Hillary Clinton, and then in that November, Trump will win re-election. Surprised Pikachu meme.
No. Here, let's put Biden. You remember him, vice president? He is part of those Biden-Obama buddy memes that you used to see all the time. Yeah, he's that guy. Vote for him.
Oh yeah. You know, please remember, you know, it's just like the imagination of like these third way corporate Democrats like just boggles me. You know, like it. And you know, let's not forget these are people that care. They care less about winning. They would rather lose with someone like Joe Biden than win with somebody like, like Bernie Sanders or Tulsi Gabbard or even maybe like Elizabeth Warren, even though she plays to the center a little
I
bit.
don't want her to run.
Yeah.
But no, even recently Clinton claimed that in Europe, if you want to turn back the right-wing tide there, you have to concede to their bullshit in regards to immigration. That's how you win.
That was so fucking gross.
Like,
and you know, like the lack of understanding is because like I look at like these politicians who say this shit, and it's like, you know, you are so well educated, you are so well fucking educated, yet you can't. These people have no pattern recognition whatsoever. You know, she's saying this shit about like, oh, if you want to stop fascism, capitulate to the fascists. It's like, no, you don't capitulate to the fucking fascists. You know, well, two things. One, you fight back against these narratives about like, oh, refugees coming here and changing our jobs and in our culture. I mean, you gotta keep in mind like the main reasons that the refugee crisis even exists in the first place is because of both economic and military imperialism. So, you know, you've got refugees coming up who, you know, this whole thing, oh, they should just go home. They can't fucking go home. Our collective, you know, either if it's NATO or, you know, it's the United States military itself, they've been bombed to Kingdom Come. Like, people come up from Syria, you know, a lot of the reason because of American bombs, or they're coming up from Yemen because of American bombs, or even here at home. You know, let's not fucking forget. It's like what really grossed me out with her saying that is like this was in the middle of like all the bullshit with the caravan going on, and
It's still ongoing.
It's still ongoing, yeah. Yep. And you know, and very few outlets talked about this. Like some of the alternative outlets started talking about it about 2-3 weeks into it, but. Yeah, let's not forget, like, most of them come from Honduras. Can anybody tell me what happened in Honduras about 10 years ago?
I don't know, Andy Argo. Please tell us what happened there.
Well, about 10 years ago, there was a democratically elected government. It was kind of, it wasn't like full-blown socialist, but it was definitely, I'd say like a social
close enough.
Yeah, close enough for the CIA, anyway. There was a plot for kind of a right-wing military coup, which got a little bump of help from the U.S. State Department, i.e. Hillary Clinton. And, you know, not to say that she was, like, solely responsible for it, but she rubber-stamped it under her tenure, and we helped facilitate that.
Yeah, it was more like slide that across your desk. Yeah, sure. Stamp it, approval.
Yeah. And here's something for the QAnon people. How come Mr. Trump didn't bring that up? That's a good question because like it would have been
well, does it involve satanic pedophiles?
No, I guess not.
Well, there you go. There's your reason.
But no, I was like thinking about this one day. You know, this would be a perfect thing for like you know Trump to tweet about. Is to be like, oh, migrant criminals coming up from Honduras. This is all Hillary Clinton's fault. Lock her up. Hashtag.
Well, they did claim for a little bit that it was a Democratic plot.
Oh,
like you know, Clinton, Obama, and all of them just went on down there and just said, "Hey guys, you should all form together in this large and mass group and slowly make your way up to America."
Oh yeah, I mean, what it really tells me.
We all know that's how it happened.
Oh yeah, but you know what it really tells me though is like both the Clintons and the Trumps of this world have a vested interest in making sure that the general populace, people, you know, working class schmucks like you or I, do not spend too much time looking into the root causes of these problems. Because when you do, you start kind of understanding.
Hey, I know you're blaming them. You're just saying they're coming here to invade and to rape and to kidnap and that, but when I was looking up this history here, it seems like you sent some economic hitmen down there to fuck up their government.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what's up with that, Mr. President?
And it's like you have Trump who just is like, you know, fuck them, they're all criminals, fuck them. And then Hillary Clinton who acts like they're all just like escaping a natural fucking disaster. Like,
which I totally had nothing to do with.
yeah.
Oh boy.
So, where were we? We're still talking about the election, right?
Well, technically, we're still. Well, I did say that we're still living in a hellhole, aren't we? So yeah, we're kind of sticking to that theme.
Yeah, that's the general theme of the hellholes.
So we've talked about who we. One thing I wanted to ask you, about again, Gretchen Whitmer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think she will actually do anything that she said that she would do, like shut down the pipeline, repeal right to work, anything like that?
Well, particularly in the shadows of this lame duck section, that's a very interesting question because I feel like, with Line 5, I feel like she really would have to do that because it's part of the red meat that she threw to her base. I think like that was the big thing too, that she was kind of using the signal to progressives that Abdul's didn't win, but I am going to do X, Y, and Z. I think like that and her $15 minimum wage promise. But and not to mention like especially having Dana Nassau as the Attorney General, who is a genuine like anti-corporate Attorney General. And she was yelling from the rafters about shutting down Line 5 on day one. So.
Yeah, and I think it's more Snyder, like some of the shit he's trying to do on his way out.
Oh, yeah.
Aren't they trying to like say, okay, we're not going to shut down Line 5, but we're going to encase it in this concrete thing, and then work on it from there. And
so they were actually drafting plans to do that before the election. But what's going on now? If y'all haven't heard about it, like the whole lame duck situation, and Line 5 is part of that. Part of what they're trying to get through, and I don't think this one actually has yet, but basically a mandated extension on their lease for 5 years. At least, I believe about 5 years. And how this is supposed to kind of protect it from, say, the Whitmer administration is... especially if you couple it with the legislation that they're trying to pass to limit the power of the Attorney General, would make it substantially more difficult to actually take Pipeline 5 out of the streets. Here's how it would play out. So their bill to kind of defang Dana Nessel, which is actually very similar to a bill they passed in Wisconsin, and I'll talk a little bit more about that.
Oh, God, that.
Yeah, but it's basically any situation where the Attorney General is going to bring a case, the legislature can basically get their own attorneys to argue their side of the case. Now, here's where it gets like a little ridiculous, is that at least the way it is now, the government's attorney or attorneys are supposed to be seen as like the state government's. That is their representation, their arbiter of whatever case they're involved in. So let's take Line 5 for example. In this situation, you would have Enbridge's attorneys, you would have Dana Nessel, and then you would have the Republicans who would be sitting basically, metaphorically at the same table as Dana Nessel. And probably also defending Line 5 in front of a judge. So yeah, it's extraneous. It's extremely partisan. It's not entirely surprising. We've seen this, particularly a good case study, 2016 in North Carolina, where they were trying to do a lot of the same stuff. A Democratic governor came in, and their legislature passed a whole bunch of lame duck shit to try to limit the governor's power.
Let's get into that very quickly. Zach, there's some dude. Hello, Zachary Elmblad of Elmblad Media Group that we're doing this from. Yeah, there was some dude here that came here looking for you.
Oh.
I told him to come. It was like right after you left, so I said he'll be back in 30 minutes.
What did he look like?
Skinny-ish white dude.
Long hair?
No, shortish hair.
Shortish hair. Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, okay. So if anyone hasn't been paying attention to the news, because we've had 3 proposals come up specifically that were all passed, and the Republicans and Snyder, they're all on their way out, and apparently they aren't very happy with the results of this election.
No.
So they decide they are just going to fuck everyone in Michigan over. Just burn it all down with us inside.
Yeah.
And we're currently calling that the lame duck session.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so to talk about how they're trying to attack the proposals. So they're a little bit of. Well, I don't even want to call it good news because it's just like, here's some news. They weren't able to do that shit.
Pretty much any goodish news is good news right now.
Yeah, but they were trying to fuck around with Prop 1. There was a Republican...
Prop 1 is the marijuana legalization?
That is the marijuana legalization. They were trying to... the Republican was trying to limit or curtail the law basically saying you could not grow your own plants in your own home.
Yep.
And it's not hard to kind of follow like say the weeds of it. The Republicans' relationship with Prop 1 is interesting because there's a lot of their base that are older and they still think of marijuana in terms of like reefer madness, turning all your children into lunatics and whores. And at the same time, though, there's a lot of Republicans, nationwide, but kind of they know which way the smoke is blowing, and they want to get on the side of setting it up so this new cash crop is going to be the right people are going to be making money, and by the right people,
the corporations, specifically the ones who pay them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if you change the marijuana law so that you can grow your own plants at home, that means you would directly depend on whoever is selling marijuana in your area. Now, when you've already got a situation set up where a permit to build a dispensary, a recreational dispensary or a medical one, can cost almost as much as $500,000.
Yeah, here in Kalamazoo, are you guys allowing it here, dispensaries to set up?
It hasn't actually gone to discussion on the city board yet, but Prop 1 passed in Kalamazoo by a 70% margin. So what I've heard from the city government is like,
in Grand Rapids, we're all for it. Our Mayor Bliss just straight up said, yeah, the people voted for it, so I'm going to listen to them.
Yep.
It's basically the places that are in Kent County itself surrounding Grand Rapids, like Hudsonville and Walker, that have opted out, air quotes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you'll probably see that from more conservative areas. Even Portage, actually, and I thought this was kind of interesting because Portage, they decided they are going to have it's like a temporary ban on recreational dispensaries until essentially they say until the government gets the regulations figured out.
Wait, state government or federal?
The state government.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And here in Kalamazoo, I think you're going to end up having a situation where historically, Kalamazoo, there's a reason we don't have many medical marijuana dispensaries. I don't know if we actually have any in the city limits, but there's been historically some pushback against even medical dispensaries in town from the big kind of downtown lobby groups. I'm thinking of like
Pfizer?
Not Pfizer, but like the restaurant group. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart. But it's the restaurant group that runs a lot of, kind of represents the business interests of a lot of like the downtown restaurants. And
it's
stuff.
probably some like Kalamazoo Business Organization or some shit.
Starts with an R. Is that?
Anyway,
it pops in my head. But anyway, a lot of the Kalamazoo businesses, like restaurants and bars and such, kind of view dispensaries from a lens of competition. So it'll be interesting to see.
Wait, these are the restaurants.
Yes, yeah.
Well, if you want to fit with the stereotypes of marijuana, would it help those restaurants?
Yeah, you think so.
I mean, do they expect these recreational and medicinal places to be like medical marijuana barbecue shack?
I never really understood.
What the fuck,
dude? I didn't really understand it myself too much because, I guess there's this concern that, if people could legally smoke weed, they'll drink less, which could happen. I'm not sure exactly.
I can assure you from experience that is, at least with me and a lot of people I know here in Kalamazoo, not something you have to worry about.
No, I really doubt it would put much of a dent in our craft beer culture, but that is, that's a legit thing. I think though, it's kind of a similar thing. It's just given how overwhelmingly it passed. We're probably going to see a lot of the dispensaries here in Kalamazoo.
There's a dispensary instead of going to Theo and Stacy's. You just go order pizza right at the dispensary and eat it.
I do want to give a legal tip to anybody out there here's the weird state we're in. So there are no recreational dispensaries yet. However, it's still illegal to sell marijuana.
Well, let's go over like quickly what are the parts of this law. Okay, like you just said, you can grow and you can gift it to people, but you cannot sell.
Yes. So what I've been suggesting, if you're a dealer, just let people know, hey, if you want to buy one of my stick figure drawings for about $80, you'll get a free marijuana gift, and that technically that is perfectly legal.
Do you hear what happened in Lansing the day of legalization?
No.
No. I guess some folks at the City Pulse, their free paper, were handing out free joints.
Merry Christmas. Yeah.
I especially like that because honestly, I read the news as much as I can, and especially in the medical marijuana industry, Lansing, especially East Lansing with MSU they are always getting fucked over by the cops there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they are always getting raided for, like, the littlest things. So, I really did like that they did that gesture.
Yeah. That's nice.
So, okay, you can grow, but you can't sell it. You can gift it.
Yeah.
You can only have, like, 2.5 ounces, I believe?
Yeah, 2.5 ounces at a time. In your own home, I believe it's 12 ounces.
Yep. You cannot drive while high.
No.
But
this is fairly reasonable.
Well, it's very reasonable, but and of course you can't go into work while high. Again, reasonable. The two things that connect those two is that there are two things. There are currently, as far as I know, no like real testing mechanism to determine if you were high at that very moment.
Yeah.
And more so, they still follow that really dumb, really archaic belief that if you have THC in your system, you are high at that time, no matter what.
What I have heard about that is, and granted, it might end up being like some bullshit where it's down to like companies to basically have it be of their own determination, but. I have been talking about instead of doing a piss test, they might do a mouth swab.
I have heard about that.
Yeah, which would be a little bit more pertinent because, like, obviously marijuana does not stay in your mouth really. As long as it does, in your urine. So that would it would kind of like what you were just saying. It is a way. It's not a perfect test, but it is a way to know, like,
they've actually been testing that up in northern Michigan.
Yeah.
I forget the results, whether they're going to do it or not, but I guess this is through Michigan Normal, because I followed them. I guess an ACLU lawyer is saying don't do that kind of test if you get pulled over.
Yeah.
Since, apparently it's not accurate enough to even down to, like, some conspiratorial bullshit, like, they'll have your DNA. Which, granted, if you do a urine test, I still think they get your DNA there.
Yeah,
but whatever. Actually, for legal marijuana in Michigan and U.S. in general, I'm very positive about the future of it. But the near future, as in this upcoming year, I think it's going to be a mess, dude.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Like,
it's going to be weird.
Here, I've been really thinking about it. Here, I'll just express my concerns and see what you think.
Yeah.
There's two big things I'm really thinking of. First and foremost, law enforcement. That's the thing that I'm really worried about, especially in places that have opted out, air quotes, is that they will use that as a means to abuse their power. Especially if they pull you over.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they test, whether they fuck with the tests, or if they straight up lie to you. Like, say, like, you do know that here in, like, Walker, Michigan, where they opted out, you do know here in Walker, Michigan, we ban marijuana, right? They'd be like, yeah, you opted out of dispensaries now. Yeah. No, it's illegal here, in general. No, it's not. Because, cops love to lie. So, I am not very optimistic with law enforcement in general in this state, like really adapting to it.
Oh yeah,
because
I mean it's like any other law. It's selective enforcement, and they select to enforce in areas that either kind of like what you're talking about, like making sure get the weird ruckus out of town, or in urban areas like Detroit, Flint.
Yep. That's another thing I was
Kalamazoo,
thinking
Harbor.
too. Honestly, everyone will get fucked with, but as we always know, people of color will always get fucked with more.
Oh yeah. It's
So-
like I hate to fucking say it, but it's like yeah, be careful. I mean, y'all know your history with the police better than us white leftists do. But
Yeah, all we've had to deal about, our version is more like, hey, we're trying to have this house show and some dickhead neighbor called the cops on us.
But
Whereas you, it's more like, well, in Grand Rapids, hey, they decided to handcuff my 10-year-old daughter.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of like some people have asked me. It's like, well, it's still technically. Is it technically legal to smoke on your porch? Technically speaking, if you're smoking somewhere visibly in public, it is illegal. But technically, it's also illegal for you to do that with alcohol. So
That's what I was wondering, like, okay, I do inside my house, but
Yeah.
what about my front porch, my front lawn, my backyard?
yeah, so
I mean, I can drink on my porch, no problem.
yeah, and here's the thing about it is like I think in most cases, no, they're not gonna mess with you because it is a legal substance, and again, like it's kind of just like that. The letter of the law says that, but most people in a million years wouldn't think they'd get arrested for having a drink out on their porch.
Well, I
That's not
guess
gonna do. But if you, just sad
Yeah.
fact of the matter is like, yeah, if you're black and you live in this racist police state called the United States, be more careful about that than your hippy dippy white friend smoking reefer on the porch.
very ironic you just said that because you're dressed very hippie-ish today. No offense, my friend.
Oh yeah,
It's just like you literally have a crystal on your neck.
that's true. Yeah, I just kind of crawled out of bed and threw on.
Like, oh shit! I got that.
went to hippie towels and
I got that fucking podcast.
yeah.
So yeah, that's my very first concern. Above all else, it's just law enforcement, even my own fears. There.
Mm-hmm.
And my second one is just the workplace in general, because a lot of places, including my job, which I will not name because I'm paranoid that they'll fire me for talking shit about them. Here's a clue though, if everyone wants to figure it out. It's one of the 3 big oligarchs of Grand Rapids. Another clue. It's not DeVos and it's not Van Amp.
Gee, who could it be?
Shit, let's get Batman on this case.
Oh yeah. Well,
But anyway, my job, of course, is against it. They still say they're going to randomly drug test, which random drug test is not a real thing, people.
yeah.
They either do it because there's an accident, or they want to fuck you over, or someone reports you.
Yeah.
But, hell, even the CEO of my workplace, they're like one of the big donors, along with like DT Energy.
Yeah.
So,
That's pretty fucked up, Garrett. I'm sorry to hear that.
I know, I'm very, very, very sad.
Because, I have seen that. It's like some employers are just going with the flow, and some of them are just like doubling down. They're like, we don't care if it's legal. We don't want you having any.
So, unlike law enforcement, I'm a little bit more optimistic with workplace though, because there's gonna be definite pushback. There's good with the unions for one. I know my union is fighting for us to smoke weed in our free time, because I've actually asked my union steward about that.
Yeah.
Actually, at my company at least, the one thing holding it back is an HR person literally said, "No, I will never allow because it goes against my personal beliefs." Like, nobody gives a shit what you think personally.
Yeah.
But, and 2, just the public outlet. I think there will be public outcries against specific businesses that do that. Especially like someone says, "Hey, I was fired here, boycott this place."
Yeah.
Because they test. Lawsuits, of course, because because basically you're firing someone for using a legal product during their free time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna acknowledge the whole argument of, well, what if they come in high? Well, yeah, fire them. They're high.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that shit.
Yeah.
But and then finally yeah, people just aren't gonna work there. They're just not gonna apply because you're gonna drug test, but I can find a better job that won't drug test me.
Yeah, I mean that is something because unemployment is low, which means that even within the shitty jobs you get to choose from, there are shitty jobs to choose from.
Like
so,
I can even see that as a commercial because Grand Rapids, we got Spartan there, of course.
Yeah,
and we hear their radio jingles on occasion and be like, hiring now, $15 an hour, great health care. As opposed to my place where it's like $12 an hour, semi-shitty health care.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can see the commercials be like, work at Spartan, $15 an hour, great health care. We don't drug test you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, too, because like, even in Kalamazoo, most of the places I've seen average about 11, 12. I make about $10.50 an hour myself. I mean, I really like the kind of work I do. I really enjoy. So I would certainly like to make more money. But I mean, that's something to be said about that, though.
You, me, and everyone else.
Oh yeah.
Literally.
Oh, yeah.
But okay, I thank you, Andy Argo, for listening to me rant there. Same with you, Zachary Elmblad.
Yeah.
I know this was hard for you. But okay, like I said, I'm very positive about the future of legal marijuana, but not in the short term. Like next year, I think it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
How about you? How do you view it?
Until 2020, like you said, it's going to be a bit of a mess. I will say the good news, that bill that we started talking about, that the Republican tried to pass, he's just not going to be able to muster enough votes for it. Whereas, some of the other lame duck legislation is already passed or is very, very close to passing.
Let's talk about that shit, because when I was referring at the beginning of the show about us living in a hellhole, let's see, they gutted, two things they gutted, whereas now the minimum wage in Michigan is like, what, $9 or something?
Oh, can I start from the beginning on this one?
You know what?
Really pisses me off.
I've ranted enough. Let's have you go off.
So here's the thing: a lot of people don't know about this was supposed to be on the ballot. This is supposed to be something Michigan voters decided, and I'll talk a little bit about how that mechanism works versus when it's actually just dealt with by the legislature, because that makes a difference.
Okay, so what is it exactly?
Okay, so. What ended up happening is, so they got enough signatures. The Republicans voted earlier this year to just adopt it outright. Now, if you don't know kind of how the state politics works, you might think, oh, that's a good thing. They just voted in early. No, they actually tried to do the same thing with marijuana. And the problem is, here's what this lets them do. If they adopt it as legislation, before it actually goes to vote as a ballot initiative, they can make amendments to it later on. Whereas if you are trying to amend a citizen's ballot initiative, you need 3/4 of the legislature. That's why they couldn't really do much with Prop 1. However, they got enough votes to take Prop 4 off the table so that in this lame duck congressional session they could take what was some fairly strong pro-worker steps. Like we're talking about mandatory $12 minimum wage by, I believe it's 2022.
Yeah, it's 2021, 2022.
Yeah, and more importantly than that, though, adjusted for inflation, so that we would have a minimum wage in Michigan that was permanently adjusted to inflation. That is so important, because if minimum wage nationally had adjusted with inflation over the years, minimum wage currently would be about $22 an hour. So and then of course they voted to make sure people would have about 72 hours of mandatory sick leave a year, which is about a week and a half roughly. Republicans gutted it, so it's $12 an hour by 2030.
Yep, 2030.
Not adjusted to inflation. You know, by 2030, like, how much is $12 an hour going to be worth? It's probably going to be worth about, what, like, you know, $10 or $9 an hour right now, you know? It's like just the way the fucking economy works. Yeah, again, they don't want to adjust it for inflation. They cut down the number of sick hours to about 36. That's not even a week. Also, and I forgot to mention this when I was first describing it, they were going to bring up tipped wage to minimum wage. And right now they are stopping that. And of course, like, you know, to the extent they're not using code words for this or anything. They're saying, like, this is better for, you know, the Republicans who are defending these changes said this is something that our friends in the business community are more comfortable
it's the same.
with.
It's the same bullshit we always hear.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing this to protect the small businesses, which, as I view it, it's always, you know, I'm going to say I'm protecting large businesses, but I'm really protecting my corporate interests.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, this is actually something I've kind of spent some time thinking about because, you know, I don't think it's something you can outright dismiss. There are a lot of small businesses, you know, even here like in Kalamazoo, that run on very thin margins. And, you know, an abrupt shift in the minimum wage could potentially be disruptive. However, again, if you know, it's the old principle. You give working class people money and they spend it and they go out, and I think as long as you make sure there's enough incentives that, you know, people buy locally, and, you know, patronage these local restaurants and stuff. And, you know, even, you know, a few more cents for, like, a burger or a pop at, like, or a coffee at, like, one of the downtown diners. Like, I think everybody's willing to throw in, like, an extra quarter or 50 cents. So that,
unless you're a right-winger. Then, you know, it'll be too much. Or, you know, if you demand... It's that fucking meme that I see on occasion where it's like... It's specifically, like, McDonald's workers. Like, oh, you want $15 an hour? Next picture shows those fucking touch screens.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, meet your replacement.
That whole thing.
Actually, that recently came up, I think, in the UK. They tested them. Apparently, all those touchscreen automation machines, full of fecal matter.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Thanks, Cox.
Yeah, I think that leads to that could be a podcast on its own, talking about, like, kind of the relationship between automation and workers. But I don't know if I really want to get that sidetracked here. But,
oh God, let's not. Let's say that for another podcast that you will inevitably be on.
Good.
But yeah, okay. So, basically, during this lame duck session, the Republicans done all that. As I describe it, seems just vengeance for how they didn't like the election.
Oh yeah,
they don't like all the people that were elected, from Whitmer to Nessel, everyone. Yeah. They're pissed off at how we voted. You know, how dare you kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, I would almost say, like, you know, I get where, like, although, I definitely get where you're coming from with that. I just want to kind of make sure to frame it like, you know, this isn't like anomalous or even particularly vengeful as much as it's, I mean, this is a strategy. This is a strategy the Republicans do. It's kind of like oppositional obstructionism, and obviously they've been running on this strategy, this overall strategy since Obama got in office, at least. You can even go back to like the 90s, like Newt Gingrich was very combative with Bill Clinton, although they'd come together on certain things like trying to gut Social Security.
You see, Democrats and Republicans can get along.
Yeah, well, it's like that. Yeah, it's like that old George Carlin chunk of.
It's the big club, and you're not in it.
It's a big club, you're not in it, and yeah, be very careful when the two parties say they're being bipartisan, because that means they're both coming together to screw you over.
Well, when I say vengeance too, I'm also thinking about other things they implemented. Like, didn't they pass some kind of resolution stating that they can interfere with individual court cases if they deem it
Yep, that's
Which I was wondering, like, is that just something that involves the state? Like, if you sue the state for something, or can it be just as small as, like, say, a drug charge?
no. I mean, it's primarily designed to interfere in the attorney general's cases. So it's specifically like the attorney general is suing, say, Enbridge or Nestle or one of those other corporations that is screwing over people of Michigan. The Republican-dominated legislature could then bring their own private attorneys in to arbitrate the case, and basically it would really turn into a big mess because you would have two different attorneys, two contrasting points of view, both trying to speak for the same client, in this case being the state of Michigan. So,
and they're doing something similar over Wisconsin too, after they voted Scott Walker out.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, exactly, they did, and I was actually kind of the Wisconsin thing ended up getting a little bit more play than our state did, but it's awful and it's irritating. It's also part of a national strategy, though, and like, granted, like, I don't have any real love for either political parties, but the Republicans, certainly they are a lot more combative and
vicious.
A lot more vicious. And yeah, they are outrightly hostile towards the will of the people. Because, I mean, let's be clear, when we talk about like why Republicans and shit do try to enhance voter suppression, or some of these other lame duck things they passed, like it's now going to be much easier for dark money to exist. Nonprofits and PACs are not going to have to disclose their donors; they can keep them secret. That also passed in the lame duck session.
Oh, Jesus!
But it's all about holding on to their power, because let's be clear. The Republican line, especially since it went full hard-on nationalist with Trump, is there's not a real future in that. And I mean the whole kind of reactionaryism we're seeing today is a product of that demographic change. There's a lot of uneducated white people, white people, who view this as like a tangible threat. Like, I was like, I mean, it's kind of hilarious and gross when we hear shit like white genocide,
Oh God!
It's their way, their racist, jingoistic way of dealing with the fact that in the next 20 years, white people are not going to be the majority in this country.
Very, very quickly, semi off topic, but there are two alt-right guys within the bizarro fiction scene that me and few. I can tell you all about that later.
Oh, boy.
But basically, they're not very well liked for various reasons,
Yeah.
and both of them constantly promote the idea of white genocide. But it's become like an in-joke that we're like, let's call them Kevin and Jeremy. He's like, yeah, the entire Bizarro scene has committed white genocide against Kevin and Jeremy. Disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, make fun and ridicule those beliefs.
I know. I love doing that.
Yeah.
Granted, it's going to be very hard for me because I've made 2 pledges for the new year that I've actually started now.
Yeah.
One was to diversify my writing in general instead of just focusing on one thing.
Yeah.
More importantly, I'm trying not to comment or troll or meme or anything like that anymore because I'm burnt out this year.
Yeah.
And I'm finding myself just, instead of like doing clever memeing or trolling, I'm just getting fucking angry a lot now.
Yeah, here's some advice for any would-be organizers or activists out there, or really just people in general. If you're trying to engage with somebody who is conservative or reactionary, or you got your problematic cousin Becky with their dubious racial views. I
liked how you said Becky there, because that's the term they kind of applied there.
One thing I've been hearing that's kind of makes me anxious from some people on the left. And I'll be super clear about this. I hear about from white people on the left is like, oh, it's not even worth engaging with these people or certain ways. And like, I think it depends on where they're at. If you're talking to somebody who's like a Pepe the Frog, a hard alt-right, Proud Boy, whatever, you know, there is a conversation that can be had with them, and usually involves fisticuffs.
Coincidentally, those are the people I happen to argue with a lot.
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to reduce that for my own mental health.
And yeah, you know, if you engaging with them online, what I tell don't debate them. You're just going to be punishing yourselves. Make fun of them. It's good. It's fun. It's cathartic.
Again, depends, because I thought that too, but now it's just stressing me out.
Yeah, sometimes it's not worth it. Yeah.
You know, moderation and everything.
Yeah. However, I'm going to say this: if you ever seriously want to like change someone's mind or make somebody think about things in a different way, I always tell people like you can get more of that done in like a 2-minute conversation with someone that you can with like you know, an essay that you type up on somebody's Facebook. I think we lose sight with social messaging. It's like stuff like Facebook and message boards in general. When it comes to actually like getting people to see a different point of view or change their minds, it's functionally useless. People go online with a different mentality than they have, you know, just like talking to someone in person or like talking over coffee or some shit. They come in the combative, like, I have to win the argument. That's all that fucking matters.
Gotta own the lips, man.
Oh yeah, gotta own the lips. Yeah. Whereas like if you're having a in-person conversation with someone, and you know this doesn't apply to everybody. A lot of people are just rude dicks, but it's much more likely that they will actually listen to what you have to say. And, you know, never think you're going to change someone's mind in one conversation. This shit is about, there's this commentator named Tim Black, who did the speech at this pro-democracy rally I went to about 2 years ago. And this always stuck with me. When you're having these kind of conversations, don't expect to just change someone's way of thinking overnight. It's about planting seeds. And like the more they hear from that, it's like you water a little bit. And you know the reason I brought this up really is like you know you hear from some white leftists or white liberals, just don't engage with those people at all. I disagree with that, because if you are a white activist, like I think that's your main job. Because I'll tell you, as an organizer, here's the main thing I always hear from black organizers, from Latinx organizers, just non-white organizers in general. You know, when white people, white activists, white leftists ask what they can do, 9 times out of 10, one of the things they always say is, come collect your cousins. Go talk to your people, because they will not listen to us. They might listen to you, and that is true. So, that's just good.
Alright, you want to get on to another subject? I think we can agree that while there's a lot of positive going on, everything is still terrible.
Everything is terrible.
Flashing. I actually saw them. They did a live show at a pyramid scheme. Where it was mostly revolved around like religious videos they find online. They had like a live show with like Satan and all that. It was great. Yeah. Everything is terrible. They're awesome. Mm-hmm. Okay. Like I said previously, I wanted to do this back in November after election, but unfortunately you had to cancel because you had band practice, which I don't know how you could. How dare you not want to be on this podcast when you have band practice?
Yeah. Well, we were working on some new material.
Priorities, Andy.
Yeah.
No, but you had a show last night at your place, the Invincible College.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it?
Okay, well, it's we were doing a fundraiser for Iraq Veterans Against the War, and we started doing it last year. This is this thing we want to do. Well, last year it was actually on Veterans Day. This year we had to postpone it a little bit. And you know, it's my whole idea is around like, you know, I wanted to do something like for Veterans Day, but that wasn't like kind of goes along that whole like jingoist, like, always support the troops for supporting imperialism.
You did. I did see that apparently someone tried to like comment on the page against one of the bands for not respecting the flag.
They called out one of our performers for like disrespecting the flag, and like, so I posted, it's like, dude, you're kind of talking to the wrong folks here, because like, supporting the troops, like. Most of the anti-war activists I organized and met who went to Iraq or Afghanistan, they don't hold any particular special place in their heart for the fucking flag or any. Because like that's part of the problem. That whole like unquestioned nationalism.
Just the America fuck yeah mentality.
Yeah, the America fuck yeah mentality. It's what. Especially
they took it seriously. Trey and Matt Parker were being satirical to some extent.
Yeah. I think what a lot of these veterans end up seeing, and I've talked to quite a few of them, is something that like has really hit me hard in the last couple of years. It's just like nationalism is a fucking poison, man. Like, really think about this shit. We get propagandized, from cradle to grave with this America fuck yeah shit.
Which then there's the debate between patriotism and nationalism, which personally I really don't see much of a difference between the two. That's my hot take on it.
Oh yeah, well, especially in America, they've been conflated to basically be the same thing.
I guess there can be a difference, but here in America, it's like it's literally the same thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. I remember there's this Twitter thread or whatever going back between like an American and a German talking about patriotism, and the German was just like, well, no, in Germany we don't have that many flags, but like we're patriotic in the sense that we want to make sure everybody has access to good social programs and stuff like that. So yeah, it's like their patriotism is rooted in the actual quality of life of people who live there. Holy shit.
Well, whereas patriotism here in America, I forgot who said this, I saw on Facebook, it's like socialism for the top 1%, rugged individualism for the rest of us.
Oh yeah, and you really think about it too, it's like it's one of the main culprits in Americans just having this complete and gross lack of empathy. You think of like, I think about this all the time. It's like how much of your tax money that got ripped out of your paycheck was used to pay for a missile from Raytheon or some shit. Like I wonder. Like I've actually thought about like trying to do the math and like how much have I made in my lifetime? Like how many kids has the U.S. bombed in the last 31 years?
Well, recently here in Grand Rapids, you probably heard on the news with Spectrum Health, one of our hospitals. This went viral because the woman posted the letter. She got denied a heart transplant, I think it was. Which, by the way, said our panel has decided. Yeah. Remember the whole death panel thing?
Oh yeah.
This was basically
a literal death panel.
And it said like, we suggest that you fundraise $10,000 for us. So yeah, which, yeah. When I said that I've been getting angry a lot lately, that was a big one right there.
Yeah.
Like, I just said fuck trolling, I just yelled at people online over it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's totally a good example of what you mean by lack of empathy and this whole bullshit about individualism, patriotism.
Yeah.
This is what happens, you get shit like that.
Yeah, and I started by saying it's like how we don't really have empathy for all the fucking innocent people we kill with our drones and shit, but that we internalize that. It's funny because like conservatives, they have this talking point. It's like, oh well, we can't help refugees until we help our own homeless people. You ask them about homeless people, it's like, you fucking loser, go get a job. It's like,
yeah. Who do we care about then? We don't care about refugees. We don't care about people in our own country.
Yeah.
I mean, we care about our corporate overlords. We gotta make sure they're still good.
We're very polite. We're very polite to them, unlike the French, for example. But
oh yeah, oh god, we didn't talk about that. Yeah, the yellow vests, fucking shit up, actually getting changed. Yep. Granted, at first when I first heard a news story about them, because like every good movement, there are some shitty right wing elements that try to infiltrate and take over. They took like a talking point from one of them who straight up said, "We are fighting the Rothschilds."
Oh,
which I was like, "Oh Jesus Christ, no!"
Yeah, really interesting to me about the French protests, and one, you really haven't heard much about this from the American media. Even a lot of the independent media has been talking about it. But yeah, it really is like a bottom up flashpoint movement. And what I mean by that is, there's actually, those political chart memes that you can find.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
There's somebody who did one about the French protests, and it's like upper left is like send Macron to the gulag. Bottom left is an anarchist symbol. Top right is like somebody with like the first the black circle and cross, and then the bottom right one is somebody with a yellow vest that says "Buy Bitcoin." So, so it's weird because I think there's a little bit of confusion about like the actual messaging of it, and like here's the deal. Just dispelling some myths. We actually had somebody from France on our show last week to kind of talk about this.
Oh wow, good timing.
Somebody on the ground did, and what they said is like it is. There are people across the political spectrum there. There are, is there a fascist element? The fascists have shown up. From what I've heard, some of my left-wing comrades in that area, though, it's similar to here, where if the outright Nazis show up, there's a strong anarchist and communist contingent.
I did share a video that showed French Antifa, air quotes.
Yeah.
Basically, they just call it that because of this dude wearing all black.
Yeah.
Might be it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Just there was a guy in yellow vest shouting Nazi shit.
Yeah.
He got fucking knocked the fuck out.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
As he should be.
So yeah, the anarchists and communists over there are multitasking.
More so, I read this on CBC last night. There's a little yellow vest movement going on in Alberta, Canada, right now.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that. It's revolved around two things. One, same stuff that's going on in France. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, number two, they seem to be very much against refugees. And they're even joined up with the Sons of Odin, which is a fascist group.
This is the group in Alberta?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, so, and they even commented, like, first of all, it's like, well, we're not rioting because we're not as violent as the French. Like, okay, you do that. But then it's like, well, we do believe in their goals and this and that. But also refugees, we don't like them. Like, oh, god damn it.
It's funny, there was a contingent of that in some of the French protests, but that kind of got driven out of the overall push. And it really refocused itself around this fuel tax, and that's important to bring up though, because like it's almost a microcosm of populist rage now, because you see people like us people like them on the right are mad that refugees exist. People on the left get upset about why refugees exist.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And technically, like, both groups can be mad about it, but it's the thing I try to explain to my right wing cousins, as it were, is like you can build as many damn walls as you fucking want. If you do not get to the root of this problem, then it's just gonna keep happening.
Well, then they get more extreme, like shit, like, why don't you just shoot them?
Yeah.
Like, god damn it.
Oh god. Oh, you hear shit like that, and like honestly, that is one of the scariest things. Cause
you get the extremist guys that want to do that from the get go.
Well,
then you get shitheads who do the like, what they should do. Then they give you their hot take, which is
I think what's
shitty.
sad is like you've seen some people, like, I don't know how much has happened in your personal circle, but like.
I have stories.
Yeah, people that you didn't necessarily think would support outright fascism. You hear this shit coming out of their mouths, they're appearing on your computer screen, and it's like, what the fucking fuck, man? Like,
I actually had that at work. There's a guy, let's call him Jim.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's not his real name. But, no, he's like kind of the token conservative. He's like my age, but token conservative. very pissed off at the election results here in Michigan.
Yep.
So much to the point that he now claims that that only homeowners in Michigan should be allowed to vote.
Oh, that's some old school shit.
Which him and I, we get along, but I am really.
Wants to take it back to
here's me really
that's the founding fathers.
Here's me bragging here about myself, but I consider myself vastly more intelligent and more humorous than him. So our past debates are just like.
And
really?
better looking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you, Zachary Elmblad. You're making me blush.
I do really like your new beard, man.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Enjoy it now, because I actually am thinking about shaving around New Year's, New Year, New Me.
Yeah.
I am continuing to grow my hair back. I want to get the ponytail. Right now, I kind of got like a Partridge Family look going on. But, yeah, so this guy, it's one of those things where, like, he'll tell someone that he really trusts, but he won't say it to me, because it'd be like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Anyway, with Alberta Yellow Vest, I think they literally just started this week.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they throw the Sons of Odin, throw that fascist bullshit out.
Yeah. We'll see, because, I'll study, I'll do some more research about Alberta. Yeah. That's interesting.
I'll link you to it. But maybe burn down your town hall. That'd be pretty cool.
Here's one of the things I am concerned about is there's been kind of a hole or a vacuum on this of coverage from left-wing media. Right-wing media has been talking about it a lot, though, and they've been talking about it from the terms of...
they're trying to frame it like them. Rush Limbaugh made some big claim, they're chanting Trump. They want Trump.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're not.
No, they fucking are not. And, you could probably find... They probably found a few people on the street who were saying some anti-immigration shit.
Or more so, they look up a YouTube video, and since they don't understand French for one, the language, and two, since it's video, you know how like you could hear something and you can't tell what it is, but you can maybe think of what it's saying.
Yeah.
Like you convince yourself.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what are they saying? That indecipherable chanting? It must be Trump. Oh God.
But yeah, that is a problem though, because the right wing media has been framing this as a right wing protest. Basically, it's against the elites. It's against globalization and immigration.
Yeah.
And
but they're chanting Trump, who is the epitome of elite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about this. Let's get back to better stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so the show last night went well.
Yeah.
As good as a house show in Kalamazoo can go.
Yeah. I think I will be completely honest. So it wasn't as big a turnout as last year when we did this. And what I found out later is apparently it was also Eccentric Night at Bell's, which I never go to that shit, so it's just completely out of my.
He's a former friend. I haven't talked to him in years, and we got into an argument last time.
Yeah.
But I have a friend who's an anarchist here who hates Eccentric's Night. He went to a big analysis, if you want to call it that, about being bougie and all that shit.
Yeah. And it's frankly, I didn't think there was a lot of crossover between people who'd come to our show and that. But
it could be worse. It could be worse. At least they're not the Hopcat here in Kalamazoo.
Well, we'll talk about that in a sec.
Yeah, but get back to the show. A bigger subject. Sista Mista, your rap group.
Oh,
Are you back?
No.
Damn it.
Okay, so here's the deal. We've kind of gotten this thing where okay, we'll perform once a year or so. Honestly, last night was rough. Crowd wasn't that big, which usually, that's not too big of a deal. But we also had some technical difficulties, and it was a rough crowd, man. It's
were you not laying enough fire bars or something?
I guess not. It's the rest of the show was great. I want to big props to Maggie May. She's from GR. She's a folk punk singer. Does great songs about punching Nazis. She's got a great song called "Satan for President."
Maggie Mays.
Yeah.
I've never heard of her. She's from Grand Rapids?
Yeah, look her up.
God, I'm going to look her up.
She plays gigs there all the time, so...
I got to look her up then. She sounds up my alley.
Yeah, the Chit Hold'ems played, and they were... That was the highlight of the night. That was great. They were an anarcho country band, so... They did these great songs about like we need some black bloc cowboys. And they
like
did
actual songs or like kind of like parodies of.
Well, I mean, they were
like
legit.
Mamas let your kids grow up to be Antifa.
Yeah, it's like legit. Well, it's legit country music. It's just from like a leftist perspective. So yeah, it's like songs about like black bloc cowboys or like real cowboys keep punching them fast. I think my favorite one was they did an impromptu song at the end called George H.W. Bush is H.W. dead.
Oh, God. Oh, God. That happened, too, yeah.
Yeah.
Read my lips. I am not in hell.
Yeah.
So many good memes come out of that. I think my favorite one was, like, George H.W. Bush died because he couldn't survive November. Like, he was literally like a few hours away, but his balls exploded, killing him instantly. Which I'm very glad that you survived it, along with you, Zachary Elmblad.
Yeah.
It was a struggle for me, but somehow I survived it.
Yeah. And then, like, I'll just tell, like, so, and like the crowd that night were, I think like, it wasn't a lot of our regular crowd, so I think a lot of them were just kind of like staring. Some of them seemed a little confused because I mean that's the thing about Sista Mista is we know people either get like super into it or they're just like, what the hell am I watching?
Well, let's get into it. Yeah. What is Sista Mista?
Sista Mista is a rap group that I started about 7 years ago. 7 years ago. It's 2011. And the initial idea of it is like we, not going too much into like the story of it, but my friend Sid, he's this really accomplished musician.
Sid Redlin.
He's kind of guy who's like he makes weird kind of industrial noise music that's very popular in places like Belgium.
He runs his own project called Boron Nuzzle.
That's right. Yeah. Also came out of retirement very briefly recently. So we started a rap group, and I didn't want to just be some white boy rapping about shit. So we came up with this whole concept of like the DJs from another dimension. We travel through time and space. I'm like this angry British woman named Sista fucking Mista, and so it's like a combination of like Hedwig and Public Enemy and Doctor Who, and
actually, this is something I wanted to ask too. Actually, I want to see if you can confirm or debunk this, because at Black Lodge, we were all hanging out. We were talking to our friend, our mutual friend, Ang Basham, who now resides in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Holla Ang. Yeah, we were talking about Sista Mista. This is what he told me.
Yeah.
Basically, Sista Mista came up after you spent a straight year binging every English show on Netflix. And then after you did all that year, you just came back with a perfect accent.
Yeah.
Is there any truth in that?
I never thought about that, but that's yep. Angus keeping it 100. That's true.
That's what he claimed.
Yeah.
And really, you do have a very accurate accent. Like,
I bloody think it's the fucking thing said, huh?
Like I try to do it, but it always like goes into like an Australian accent.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I try the same thing with an Irish accent, but it turns Scottish.
Yeah.
But you've got it nailed down pat, man.
Well, thank you.
So much so that when you went on your little European adventure a couple of years back, I actually suggested that you try to convince people in England that you are actually from there, because you have the knowledge and the accent. You could pull it off. Like, I was born on the River Thames.
Well, I will say one funny thing that happened. Like when I went there, is I actually went to Liverpool. Because like that's part of like the weird backstory of Sista Mista is he's from Liverpool.
And of course, historical self, the Beatles and everything.
Yeah, and they the people in Liverpool, they're actually critiquing it a little bit. They're like, it's all right, but you sound more like you're from the East End of London. And so I actually changed my backstory after that. It's like, I'm from London's East End.
Home of Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
Except I rip bars, not prostitutes.
So here's what I'll say. I'll be. It wasn't one of our best shows. Will Sista Mista ride again? We'll see. You know, it's been, we do it about every year. Again, a 1 year out. That's a long time to kind of stare out into the future. We might put it on ice for a little bit longer, honestly. I know our 10-year anniversary is going to be coming up in like 3 years. So.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Dude, time fucking flies.
Even
I mostly get that whenever I get those fucking Facebook memory things come up. And it shows like a really shitty post I made back in like 2010. Here's what you were doing 8 years ago. It's like, oh, God.
We were talking about like maybe getting into the studio and at least getting like our new tracks recorded as kind of like a sign off. It's like, here's all this new shit that we've done over the years. It's never been on an album before. Boom. But yeah, I think like it's been a lot of fun doing Sista Mista. I would like to start doing more political hip hop again, kind of expand my repertoire. But I think like, honestly, last night really showed to me that like there's a certain niche for Sista Mista, and I'm not gonna say that it won't be brought back, but I think personally I need to, start. Focus on some new projects where kind of some new fresh ideas, different sound, different theme. But.
Well, actually, this is a great subject. Yeah. Let's hit that way back machine. When did you first get into hip hop?
Holy shit! Well,
dig deep, brother. You can do this.
Well, when I was about 5 years old, so I've been actually somewhat serious here. When I was about 5 years old in MTV, that's when they started playing stuff like, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, and,
when was this, like, early 90s?
Yeah, early 90s, yes. And, my dad, we had cable, and, like, my dad used to always let us watch MTV, because, like, when I was really little, they were mostly playing a lot of, like, the 80s music videos. We got some in my microwave ovens. But,
the heart of rock and roll is still beating.
Yeah. But then, MTV shifted. They started playing hip-hop, and, like, at the time, I was still, like, mostly into pop music, but...
electro pop?
Yes, but there was just something about like like when it would come on, I was just like, it's like I was fascinated, like like Spock or some shit. Like I'm like looking at Snoop Dogg, his video for Gin and Juice, and granted it's not like one of those things where, because I think a lot of like white kids from the suburbs would be like, ooh, urban culture, and it's like I lived in that kind of neighborhood growing up. But it was like seeing a neighborhood like that represented on, music television. I was like, whoa! And then like it's just really funky.
What neighborhood did you grow up in?
The Edison neighborhood.
Edison, yeah. I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Like on Portage.
Yeah, and Edison, for those who don't know Kalamazoo that well, it's lowest income neighborhood in Kalamazoo, and it's also like the most diverse. There is a really nice culture down there, though.
You mean lower and more diverse than the Vine neighborhood?
Oh, yeah.
You mean there's more diversity than white low-rent college kids?
No, Vine has a great diversity of different kinds of white punks. But, no, I'm sorry. I almost made Garret choke, I'm sorry.
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah. But... yeah, there's something that really captured me about it, and then, like, there was that, and then, like, one time seeing, like, cause Public Enemy is my favorite band of all time, and I think the first time I ever saw
yes, Sista Mista's very first album, Fear of a Drag Planet.
Yeah.
It's obviously that big influence.
Yeah. So we, first time I saw Fight the Power, that was even more, I was like, holy, what is this? And then I remember my dad coming in and like changing the channel. I'm like, Dad, I was watching that. He's like, I don't listen to that rap crap, you know. That was the thing in the
with rap? Crap.
Yeah, that was a thing in the 90s. Like, that was the epitome of dad humor. It's like, rap is crap. Oh, yeah.
God.
Yeah. But I didn't get really into it, again, until I was probably like early high school, and that's when I started hanging out with a bunch of friends who listened to that kind of stuff, and particularly listened to like a lot of really like political and cerebral hip hop, because I was also a pretentious little douche at the time. It's like, I don't like the stuff on the radio, it's too commercial. You know, nowadays I'm a little bit more laissez-faire about that, because
you did write like an apology post about Kesha.
Yeah, Kesha's actually dope as hell, and I remember one of our early songs. I was like, I wrote some snide bullshit about like, oh, she's drunk all the time and makes shitty music, and I was like, actually, oh no, she was drunk all the time because her manager was an abusive dick, and it turns out she's actually pretty fucking talented.
Yeah, I mean, heard that great song she did with Macklemore, Good Old Days.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know if I remember that one. But
oh no, it's all over the radio.
Oh, okay.
We know how you don't listen to that.
Yeah.
I think it's a legitimately good song.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, okay. So when did you start rapping, in particular?
Oh well, again, like I started doing slam poetry in high school, and at the time I was starting to write like a few rap songs, and so this was like I was about 18, 19, and I guess even before that I was involved. We had like a club at Norix called the Poetry Rap and Dance Club, and I would write
very specific there what they're into.
Oh yeah. And like I remember writing a few raps for that. I always wonder too, like if I had started a rap group in high school. Sorry, I'm no wistful if I did. But yeah, I'd say like I started writing a lot of that kind of stuff in high school. In college, not so much. I was going to Western, and I was focused most of that on playwriting. And then after I graduated, it's funny, Aang mentioned that whole like spending a year watching British television.
Pounding everything, Doctor Who, Snuffbox, IT Crowd.
Yeah.
Then you like emerge from the chamber.
Hello. Cocoon. Hello everyone. You want to hear some motherfucking rhymes? Yeah, because like literally right after I graduated, like I had this I started working at ROI. But I just had all this free time because I was like pushing the Midnight Oil through all of college, like 16, 18, 20 credit semesters, usually, and a job on the side. So like having all this free time, all of a sudden I was like, my brain kind of like shut down and turned to pudding for a while, and like I just like ate. My brother could attest to this. I spent about 3 months eating Hot Pockets and watching Doctor Who.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess how would you describe your rap style? I mean, like, Sista Mista is a specific project.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, for example, could you engage in a rap battle?
Oh yeah, I mean, what, are you challenging me, Garrett? No.
An epic rap battle.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they're back apparently.
Oh yeah.
They did like Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Mm.
It was kind of shitty, I thought, but hopefully they'll get better.
Yeah.
Anyway, so could you like, because there's different styles and like different abilities. Like Zach and I always talk about this. Insane Clown Posse, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I know how much you love them.
Oh yeah.
I'm kidding, but no, like they were talking about like their upbringing, like compared to Eminem.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying like first of all they acknowledge that Eminem's way better lyricist, which is true. Yeah. But they also said like Eminem he grew up like in the battle rap scene and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They said straight up like, yeah, we don't rap, we can't do rap battles, but we're more theatrical in that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I acknowledge that there's like different interests and even like different skill levels. Mm-hmm. So like, how would you, I guess, rank yourself? What's your power level?
It's funny because I actually did start trying to do rap battles, and I always thought like I wouldn't be that great at it because a lot of a lot of the Sista Mista lyrics and style is it's super deliberate, and it's always either like telling a story or kind of using wordplay to talk about like some political issue or whatnot. And you know, what I've noticed is like, you know, I wouldn't say, I'm definitely not a skilled rap battler. I'm not gonna ever win a rap battle against somebody who's actually like good at it. But, I could start going to spark, because like kind of how my style has changed, or like I guess it's even more like a question of like vocabulary and memory, is that like I'm able to come up with stuff on the fly a lot easier than I used to. Because like used to be like lyrics, like I have to think about, like, you know, what is the perfect rhyme to come to.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I get that too with poetry, and that like sometimes you have to think about it. Sometimes, especially like the situation, like if I'm at work, you know, same boring shit I've been doing for over 5 years now.
Yeah,
shit will just come out, and it's like, God, I really should be writing this down. I'll remember it for later.
Yeah.
Then you don't remember it.
Yeah, and you know, particularly with Sista Mista, it's like it's interesting because like the way that it's performed is very, very different than like most rap, where you know you kind of have a specific beat and you listen to the feet of them going to the cadence and the pace and the tempo, and you know with Sista Mista, like it's kind of more like Death Grips, where it's like, you know, at
it
one
goes,
moment
it
I'm
goes
going like this.
It goes, and
then I talk. It really, like, it's meant to be like, Sista Mista is like chaotic, and it's like at times it's not even necessarily rap. It's almost got more of this like Jello Biafra feel to it.
Oh, okay.
And then it'll jump back into like a fast flow rap, and then it'll just slow way down, like some like 80s style KRS-One type shit. And you know, that's cool. You know, it's good stuff, and it's like, you know, kind of unconventional. I think, like, you know.
Oh yeah, you gotta stand out. I mean, we all can't be Kanye.
Oh yeah.
Which, yeah, I remember when Yeezus came out, and I let you listen to some of the album, specifically the track "I Am a God."
Yeah,
you were very angry about that.
Yeah,
it's
I was like,
yeah, you totally did not rip off Sista Mista there,
man.
Kanye.
Yeah, Kanye, you stole our shit, man. Stole our bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, so you want to do something different. You still want to rap. Is it? I guess would it fit into the genre of conscientious hip hop?
Oh yeah. I think like I have a hard time talking about shit that isn't like sociology or politics. I've become like one of those people at the.
Okay, I would have to disagree with that, because aside from the ever lovable Zach Elmblad, you're one of the other people that I could go on for hours with.
Oh well, yeah. No,
which, speaking of which, it's 3:10. Like you gotta go 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, is your job far away, I guess?
No, it's about from here it's about a 15-minute drive. So.
Oh, okay. I could give you a ride.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Yeah.
But yeah, so you're still gonna continue doing it, like like I said, it's gonna be more conscientious. Is it good? Are you going under a different name?
Yeah, you know what I've thought about doing. This is even like, we actually talked about doing kind of the same trio in a different configuration. I don't think we're going to do that. Sid is getting a little. He doesn't like doing regular shows. I would like to. He's kind of burnt out. I don't know if anybody in the scene knows. Sid Redland was doing like 5 shows a night for like about 5 years for there. He was playing all the fucking time.
Well, yeah, and there's some other bullshit with certain people.
Yeah,
it's like, ugh.
But
I kind of don't blame him.
Yeah. So there's a few people I've talked about working with, and like you know, I've actually, you know, I've had, cause like I am not a talented musician at all. I can play like a little bit of guitar.
Bullshit.
No, seriously, dude. Like I play like.
I'm not saying that because I'm your friend.
Yeah.
I do legitimately think you're talented.
Yeah, I mean, I know 3 chords on a guitar, and I guess I can rap or whatnot. But
hey, that's very punk.
Yeah, yeah.
Or you just say, you know, it's DIY. It's lo-fi.
Yeah.
Which is totally not a label to excuse shitty music.
Oh yeah. And you know, something that I have been trying to do a little bit more of is making my music a little bit more personal, which is something I've always had a problem with. I mean, part of the reason I did Sista Mista the way I did, it's like, oh, nobody wants to listen to some stupid white boy talk about shit. And
you would be surprised. I mean,
Yeah.
look at Eminem.
Oh yeah, exactly. And
How long has he been
Yeah.
going on for the same
Yeah.
bullshit? I mean, he literally just released an album where it's just him bashing everyone he hates in the press.
Oh yeah. And like, so yeah, I think I'm ready now for some of my songs to come from a more personal place, and you know, I've certainly got more complex things to talk about than, you know, some generic white boy punk band that's like, my girl dumped me, and I'm gonna write a song about it. I'm so sad. You know.
Oh, and I do see that you're back to DJing a little bit as
Yeah.
Danger Groove.
Yes, you know, big props to Sean Hartman. He's hosting every week, and it's just, you got a record collection and you want to spin some records, just talk to him. You can set yourself up a slot, and
Yeah.
it's something I used to do a whole lot when I was younger. I would literally, I had like the 2 turntables and a mixer, and I would just go DJ at parties and stuff a lot. And I hadn't done it in a few years, and I used to have a radio show on Wider called Electro Pop Therapy, and it's been really nice. I really like going down to Old Dog, just like spinning a few records, making a few people dance around. You know, that's I think that's just my rubric from now on. It's like a good DJ set. Like the first one I did was on Halloween. And I got like a couple of middle-aged white women to come up and dance. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I was say, what has the reception
Yeah,
done for
yeah.
Danger Groove?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, they're pretty chill too. Like I don't. It's not necessarily about like playing banging dance music every time you're up there. A lot of times, like slow it down, just play a lot of like really not juicy, kind of '80s new wave cuts that I really like, and
Yeah.
you know, because it's basically like people are out at Old Dog having a few drinks, having dinner, and you know, make them dance a little bit, have some good background music while they're chilling and doing their thing.
I do recall many a time at the Black Lodge, especially if we're like really drunk or high and watching Netflix. Of course, I would go into, you know what you should do, Andy. Now, my great life advice when I'm totally fucking hammered.
Yeah.
I did suggest that you try to expand Danger Groove out to like doing DJ gigs.
Yeah.
Or even like, well, I think you refuted this, or like straight up do like what some DJs do, like make their own beats.
Yeah. Oh, I did a little bit of that, especially when I was younger. And then, I don't know, I just kind of fell out of it. I don't know if it was necessarily a lost interest. It was just like, what happened those years? A lot of busyness and depression and shit.
Story of my life.
Yeah. I'm busy or depressed, or I'm busy being depressed. Is it? Yeah.
Well, hopefully you'll just be busy.
Yeah.
And not so much depressed.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, we gotta leave with. Well, no, we still got a little bit of time, but
yeah, we can wrap it up. We're nearly 2 hours in.
yeah, this is something I talk about sometimes on the show, and this is something I like bringing up as much as I can. It's kind of the intersection of living in fascistic late stage capitalism and one's mental health. Anybody listening to this, you know, I think it's important to understand, like, you know, me, lots of people in my community have been dealing with like really severe mental health issues lately. Like even myself, you know, I have intermittent depression. Last time I had a really bad one was like in 2015.
Yeah, I do remember that one.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah, barely left the damn house, and you know, I felt it kind of coming along again because, you know, seasonal depression, and you know, let's not forget, like, what we see in the news every day. It's disheartening. Like, I mean, Jair Bolsonaro is president of Brazil, man.
Oh,
like,
God.
Fucking, this guy's gonna just
Yeah.
privatize the fucking rainforest.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm gonna kill all the tribes and take the
Yeah.
rainforest.
So, you know, I'd say, like, it's easy to really lose hope. You know, there's that thing with the climate change panel, we got 10 years. It's like
Trump was the only one that didn't sign it.
yeah. It's like you look at that and you're like, God damn, there really ain't no hope there.
But afterwards, they did show a hilarious thing where like Trump has signed some NATO document or some shit.
Yeah.
And he like signed all 3 lines, and like the world leaders are just giving him perfect what the fuck looks. It's like Jesus.
Oh man. So where I'm going with this is, a couple of important points is, go back to something from Standing Rock, because I was there for about a month back in 2016, and this is something I always go back to when I'm really trying to get my way out the darkness. And they talked about the 7 fires prophecy, and I'm really paraphrasing this because I'm not, I don't know verbatim, but the general idea around this is there will come a time where humanity has to choose between an easy path and a hard path. And the easy path is, it's easy. It's just you can find and walk down. But at the end of that path is destruction. And then there's a hard path, lots of twists and turns and dangers. But at the end of that one is kind of really a new future for all of us. And I think we're on that dark one. I think we are. Like, things are going to get really, really bad. And, looking at it realistically, there is a far, 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 far more significant chance that we are probably going to go extinct by the end of the century than that we won't. But there's also a small chance that we will not go extinct. In fact, can create a better world out of this, and that is the probability you have to live in when you're walking day to day in this society. Because at least speaking for myself, like, I know people who they're kind of blasé and nihilistic. They're just like, oh, we're all doomed. Who cares? Like, I can't live with like that. I tried for a while, and it's just like all I did was I went to work, and then I'd go home and drink, eat ice cream, smoke weed, watch Netflix, wash, rinse, repeat. Do that every single fucking day.
If anything, here on the Garret Schuelke podcast, we are positive about the future.
Oh, yeah.
No matter how much we acknowledge how fucked we are.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And, I also say, that's good general advice, for people to absorb in the world. And also understand, too, being mentally healthy is in a sick society is not necessarily a good thing. I think, frankly, anybody who isn't dealing with some kind of mental health issue in the times we're currently living in, I'm like, what the fuck? Either something's wrong with you or you're not paying enough attention.
Very jealous.
Yeah. And, I'll just, depend on your, community, man. As much as we isolate ourselves these days, if you have people in your circle you can reach out to for support, don't hesitate. We all have those moments where it's like, I am just feeling fucking terrible right now, and I just want somebody to watch a movie with or something.
Or play Smash.
Which
you did this week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No justice. No
justice, no peace. Fuck the police.
No, I said no justice for Waluigi, no peace. But no. Sorry, that's a funny internet video. Y'all want to look it up.
God. We'll end this now before we get into this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, that's the show. Thanks for listening. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Andy, for being on again.
Thank you for having me on. And can I make a quick plug about a couple things?
Oh, yeah. Let's plug everything.
So, a couple things. One, I want to give everybody a quick little update about the Bronson Park Freedom Encampment. Their Facebook page is still active, and while the camp itself is no longer in Bronson Park, because
oh shit, we forgot to talk about that.
Oh yeah, well, long story short, they kicked everybody out of the park, bulldozed it, a bunch of donations. Yeah, it was pretty gross.
So basically, everything's terrible.
Yeah, it was. Typically, a nice white liberal Kalamazoo, in my mind, kind of showing its true colors. It's like, you really challenge capital in this town, for realsies, and they will take the gloves off and actually act like the corporate butt boys they are. Oh yeah, so their page is still active. The Bronson Park Freedom Encampment. You can hit them up directly. People out there, they need winter camping gear. They need winter clothes. Unfortunately, there is still a lot of homeless folk in Kalamazoo that are sleeping outside in the winter. And I bumped into a few, like, yeah, they're sleeping outside in the winter, and they still refuse to go to the gospel mission because it fucking sucks. So, you know, they need those kind of donations. You know, really, if you can offer any of that kind of stuff, they do take cash for certain things like emergency hotel stays. And frankly, if you are the kind of person, you know, particularly like if you and your roommates are comfortable or you own your own home, if you are comfortable like just letting people sleep in your basement or something on a particularly cold night, you know, reach out to that group. It's just all homeless folks helping other homeless folks. It's just mutual aid. It's not like there's not like some non-profit organization being the arbiter of this shit. So you will directly get plugged into somebody who needs that kind of assistance. Excuse me. And then, what was the other thing? Kalamazoo Socialist Party, we're trying to get reorganized. We've got a meeting on January 13th at 12 p.m. We're really trying to move into a different direction than a lot of the other groups around here and kind of fill a hole with...
DSA.
DSA does good work. I think, like, you know, some of the stuff we've talked about is, like, holding, like, community teach-ins that are coupled with, also, like, providing food and stuff. You know, like, I think, you know, it goes back to, Fred Hampton said, you know, yeah, theory's cool, but theory without practice ain't shit. And...
or Joe Hill, the famous IWW organizer, paraphrase more than anything. So yeah, you don't really think about concepts such as class warfare when your skin's flapping up against your ribs.
Oh yeah, and you know, I'd say there's a lot of really great activists and organizations in the community that are helping out and doing some really great work. I think it's rare though, especially nowadays. You know, just you know, this is by design. American leftism it either has the theory and no practice, or the practice and not the theory. So we'd really like to kind of combine both of those things, where like we want to, you know, feed the homeless and also show them like a documentary about Eugene Debs, or also we talked about like organizing self-defense groups and maybe like forming something like an SRA chapter here in Kalamazoo. So,
all right. Well, I'll just plug your shit. You can check out Andy on his show, the Hoodrat Strategist radio program, Wednesdays, 4 to 6.
That's 5 to 7.
God damn it! I can never get it.
Well, actually, the time's going to be changing next month. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be right
so,
there.
So 5 to 7 right now, and then next month I think it's going to be from 6 to 8.
Yep.
So
check it out on Wider. 89.9.
89.1 WIDR, and then we also post the episodes to YouTube under Hoodrat Strategist radio program.
-1 that got taken off due to some copyright music
yeah,
thing.
ironically, is a Russian copyright claim. Russiagate came for our show.
Fuck you, Putin.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're on Facebook, and check him out at Old Dog as Danger Groove, and
usually down there about once or twice a month.
Yep, Sista Mista on Bandcamp. Check them out.
Yeah. Check us out at Bandcamp. If we sell like 2 albums in the next year, we might do another show next November.
Yep. And of course, his house, the Invincible College.
Yeah.
They'll be having shows. I guess hit them up for the addresses and shit.
Oh yeah.
And you can find me, of course, on garretschuelke.tumblr.com. Enjoy it now, for Tumblr goes to hell because they're banning all adult content.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this on the Internet Archive, you can also stream shows on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you can download shows on the Internet Archive. I'll probably branch out sometime next year with other services. But yeah, that's the show. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Andy, for being on. Thank you, Zach Elmblad, for hosting as always.
Anytime.
And thank you everyone. That's the show. Here's the outro song.